On my 40th birthday, my brother had told me your 40th birthday is different than any other birthday. I can't explain why to you. He said, but you'll know what I'm talking about the night before. And sure enough, the night before I started thinking about it. I'm nearly 40 years old. I'll be 40 years old tomorrow. My mother lived to be 56 years old. My father lived to be 62 years old. It could be that 2/3 of my life is gone already. And what have I ever done? And I decided that I should pick out what it is I really wanted to do and be. And after a short period of time, I decided that publishing was what I wanted to do. Publishing was the enhancement of human intelligence. That the few people who could take the ideas of the few people who had good ideas and proliferate it to the people who could use those ideas. And as a result, really have a much larger audience than a teacher in a school in a classroom to teach people what good ideas are ideas. And then suddenly it occurred to me that when I was in basic training my first day, it was like the least military guy in the world. Gone to college and on an art scholarship and majored in design, and I was part of the art world. I didn't like to kill anything. To this day, I don't kill anything. I mean, there was a spider, I would take it outside, but let alone to go to a war to kill people or to get killed myself, which is neither of those things or anything that I want to be anywhere near. So, my first day in basic training, I recognized the fact that I had signed up for this for 4 years, and it was so restricting, and it was so onerous to me. The whole idea of spending 4 years of my life in this kind of environment, that I thought to myself, if I ever can do anything about eliminating a draft, because I was subject to the draft, that I would, if I was ever in a position to. And I decided that I would publish in the field of war and peace, primarily in the field of war. And I would publish to the people who were in charge of making war. And I thought that those were the generals and the admirals, which they are. They're in charge of making war. But the person who actually makes the wars are the politicians. The generals and the admirals, it's their job to go and fight these wars. The politicians, what they do is they make the wars. And wars are nothing more than organized theft. For the most part, it's a group coming together and organizing to go and steal something, steal the resources of another country, steal the land of another country, to take over the other country. And so I published in the field of all the fields I mentioned earlier, because these are the things that people had to know about in order to fight wars in modern times. They had to understand nuclear technology. They had to understand electronic and electro-optic and infrared technology. They had to understand physics. And so my issues editor was Dr. Edward Teller. Dr. Edward Teller was the man who developed the hydrogen bomb. He was the man who originally met Fermi, Enrico Fermi, on the dock. And he came to America to warn us that nuclear fission had been achieved in Germany, and that Hitler, it wouldn't be too much longer that Hitler would have a bomb, and that we should get on this right away. And all of my editors were, the people attached to my magazine were ex-generals, admirals, people who had gone to Annapolis and West Point. I had always wondered why we tried to funnel our elite youth into schools, like Annapolis, West Point, and today the Air Force Academy, to teach them to make war. But we didn't funnel our elite youth into academies to teach them to make peace. We didn't teach them to be diplomats. But I found out later on it's much more complex than that. That these generals and admirals, even though they have to prosecute the war, these are not the people who make the war.